Hi, I'm Jane Dubin. I'm one of the lead producers of the play Still.
What made you choose Still to bring to another incarnation?
Oh, so many things. Number one, I just love the play. I love the conversation that it generates. I love Leah Romeo, the playwright, and Adrian Campbell Holt, the director. I love that this is a play that's female focused. And I love new work. As a producer, I really like to bring new ideas and new conversation to the stage, and I think this play brings both of those, in spades.
What other shows have you produced, and what do you look for?
I've actually been a co-producer on 9 shows on Broadway.
Which ones?
Is This a Room, Dana H., The Prom, Farinelli and the King, An American in Paris, Anne, the Anne Richards story, and Anne's daughter just passed away yesterday, Cecile Richards, The Norman Conquest.
Oh, I love that show.
And Bandstand.
Oh,
I think
nice.
That's not.
Yeah,
I think that's everyone.
What draws you to the shows that you pick?
When I see or read the story, it has to move me in a real gut way, and I need to feel like I can watch a show 20 times and get something out of it that's a little bit different each time. And I feel like for me to put my name on a show is the ultimate, because my name is the only thing that I can really control. It's my reputation, it's me, and I really have to have very strong feelings about a play. I want it to say something. I want people to think when they see the show. I think this one is obvious that it does make people think, and it also, I think, makes people want to talk to each other.
I think so.
And if that isn't something that we really need right now, in our country and in our families and our personal lives, I think people like to see a little bit of themselves on stage, and this is a very personal story, and I think it resonates. It certainly resonates with me. I think it resonates with almost everyone, whether it's your friend, your family, your neighbor, people who have something that's standing between them, and yet we're all looking for connection.
I think we fail to find out the whys of why somebody thinks the way that they do. Because I think if we went deeper and thought about why is this person thinking that way, maybe the conversation would be a little bit kinder.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, if we can start with a place where we do agree. Even Congress passes bills with some bipartisan support, and that's not an easy feat. So if they can do it, even if it's only a few times, certainly we can find places where we have things in common. We have common hobbies. We have, there are things that we believe in that are similar. And once we can do that, then maybe we can broaden things. And we don't have to think so much about changing each other's minds. We just have to think about how we can coexist, and be, like you said, be kind to each other.
Thank you.
I am Melissa Gilbert, and I am playing Helen.
I am so impressed by your outfit. Can you please show us the bloomers? Because I freaking love them.
I'm wearing bloomers.
Wait, I want to know how you got the bloomers and the shoes. They are amazing.
The bloomers come from a company owned by a friend of mine called Magnolia Pearl. The shoes were a gift from my business partner in our company, Modern Prairie. And this dress is actually one of our dresses, Modern Prairie dress.
So wait, you have a company?
I do have a lifestyle brand for women over 50.
Can you talk about that? Because I find that really interesting.
It's amazing. It's 2 years old, and it is growing exponentially. Just this last year, the business has grown 500%. And we do have this retail component, but what the retail component does is it enables us to put on free events. And we have Zoom events with experts on everything from dealing with grief during the holidays, to taking care of aging parents, to taking care of relatives with memory issues, how to handle money if you've never handled money before, how to travel alone for the first time, how to adjust to not working, what happens when your children leave the nest, what happens when they come back.
In this day and age, that is a very strong possibility.
It is a strong possibility. And then we do things like, we do fun things like how to make a perfect pie crust. We craft, we knit, we have a book club, we have pen pals, and we have an app where right now about a little over 30,000 women can communicate in a safe space without any trolling, no politics, no angry, vicious meanness, just supporting one another through life.
Please tell our audiences what that app is.
It is called Modern Prairie, and it's available on all formats.
I find this amazing. I love that you're doing this for women.
Thank you. Well, I felt that there was something missing for me, and when I realized what it was, I wanted to share it with everybody else. Because we need each other, right?
We do.
Who am I going to talk to about my postmenopausal life, aside from women who've been through it? I mean, my husband's understanding, but there's no way he can possibly relate. And God, I love him.
I don't even think women
we
have a
don't
hard
even really talk about it.
Yeah, because it's so different for everybody else.
Exactly. So it's nice to have a place we can go to share all this stuff.
Now, you do TV, film, and theater. Mm-hmm. How did you get back into theater?
I never stopped. I mean, I did a play in Chicago a couple of years ago. I've done the Dead 1904 at the Rep 2 years in a row. I've done one woman show here. I did another two-hander play here at the Cherry Lane. I've never stopped doing theater. It's one of the great loves of my life. It may not be the best thing for bill paying, but it is certainly incredibly artistically satisfying.
I love the fact that you're dressed up like Little House on the Prairie, because we all remember you from that, and we love you from that.
Thank you. This is actually, the reason we called the company Modern Prairie is because it's prairie, but it's with a modern twist. I'm wearing a J. Crew blazer. I've got, Office Evangelist Scott boots on, but then there's pantaloons. So,
but the fact is that you've taken dressing out of a time frame. We don't have to be a certain age to wear things.
No, we don't have to live in a certain age to wear them either. I think people should dress in whatever makes them happy, not what they think other people would be happy seeing them in. I think we should dress for ourselves and ourselves alone. And if that means wearing pantaloons, or if that means wearing spandex pants, go for it. If it makes you happy, it should be yours.
You made me so happy discussing this. I look so forward to seeing you in Still.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you would like our audiences to know before we leave?
You know what, if I could just... I guess one thing, I think it would be the performance on January 29th. That's a big deal because all of the proceeds from that performance are going to wildfire relief in Southern California, which is my hometown, my beloved hometown. I am a true Los Angelino. I was born in downtown LA in 1964 and have lived there almost my entire life.
I'm from Altadena.
Oh.
My entire childhood is gone.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Malibu and Topanga and all the places I went. A lot of them are gone, and so many. Every day there's a new friend who's got nothing. Which is another reason I'm grateful I have Modern Prairie, because we started sending out care packages to people.
Oh, I love that.
Like ceramics and
how
tabletop.
Can people donate to that?
There's no need to donate to that. We're just doing that on our own. That's our own initiative. We haven't actually started a fundraising initiative just yet, but if people wanted to go to Modern Prairie and make purchases and have them shipped to someone, that could certainly be done. And that's at www.modernprairie.com.
I love that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Campbell, and I'm the director of Still.
Now, this is your second version of directing?
Third time's a charm. 3 is my lucky number, so perfect.
How did this playwright get this play to be seen and produced?
So I had the pleasure of meeting Leah. I was directing her final show at Juilliard. last year, and I loved working with her so much that I had a long train ride. And January 30th of last year, I said, Leo, send me all of your other plays. I want to do another play together. And before I was on a train from New York to Boston, before I got to New Haven, I had called her, called Tim Daly, and called Dorset Theater Festival, and I said, we're doing this. And it all worked out.
That's amazing. So you're really the reason why Leah has a career.
I have a part in it, yes. I mean, it helps that she's a brilliant writer and she's a wonderful collaborator, and she made the play. I can't take credit for that, but I do feel I've played an important role.
So did you meet at Juilliard?
So Juilliard has a program called the Norman Festival for their grad playwrights to partner with professional directors and designers, and sort of as their final showcase, do a full rehearsal process and do with Juilliard actors and bring industry in to sort of get to know all the graduating playwrights. And I got to do a play of hers called The Agency, which I love as well and hope to do somewhere soon. And immediately after we were a few weeks into rehearsal, I just thought, I can't wait to do another play with her.
You won a prestigious award. Did you have this award the last time we talked?
I did. I won the award in 2018. So,
and tell them what it is.
So I won the Lucille Lortel Visionary Director Award, which was, I think as a director, you're constantly hustling and interviewing and trying to get jobs, and it's so nice to get an award where you didn't even know you were up for it. They just told me that I had won.
Oh, nice.
And it really meant a lot.
No, competition is beautiful.
Yes, I like that. And Celia Keenan-Bolger, who's a good friend, presented me with the award at the Times, theater, and it was a very special day.
What's up next for you?
So Colt Court is actually my theater company, Colt Court, which produced the New York premiere of Still, has a incredible world premiere that's coming up in April called Minority by Fran de Silveira. So we're hard at work on that, and then I'm also developing a new musical with Jacqueline Backus and Jonathan Brooke called Tempest, and I'll be doing.
Is it based on Tempest?
It's not Tempest, it's Tempus. So Tempus, the Latin word for time.
Oh.
And it's an incredible show. And I'm doing another world premiere this summer at Dorset, another play called Satellites by Erin Breshnitsky.
So you are one busy little girl.
I'm a busy lady, yeah.
What kind of projects do you like to take on?
I always want to do plays and musicals that make us ask deep questions and leave us wrestling with sort of answers that aren't tied up neatly with a bow. I also love it when stories are centered in characters who have not been centered before, and plays and musicals that are deeply original. So there's a sequence in this play that has some elements of foreplay, but it's foreplay unlike anything you've ever seen before. And the two actors kind of leave the bar and they are dangling in the cosmos of their own sort of intrigue and self-doubt and all the things that go through a person's mind as they're thinking about intimacy in their 60s, as I imagine, at least.
I just want to say that the whole reason I haven't asked Adrienne about this play and what she's done is we did a podcast with Adrienne, Tim Daly, and Jane Atkinson that we will put in the link for this that you can see on that as well. Adrienne, I'm so glad that you've been with us today.
Great to see you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to say?
Just these two actors in this show are very, very special, and I love Tim and Jane, but even if you saw the show already, come back because it's very different.
I'm sure it would be because our dynamics are different.
Yes, and Tim, in some ways Mark and Melissa are actually more different from each other than Tim and Jane were, so that makes the tension and the chemistry that much richer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm Leah Romeo. I'm the playwright for Still.
And how did you come up with the idea for this play?
So the play grew out of a personal situation for me. I was married to someone who I cared deeply about, but also disagreed with on some important issues. And I was trying to figure out what to do about that. And so I ended up
sort of thinking that the process of writing about it would help me figure that out, which it did not. But it did show me that this is a question that resonates with a lot of people right now, and that a lot of people are struggling with this same question.
You said was. Are you still married to them?
We are separated currently.
So, love, in your opinion, and with still, is it your opinion that political differences cannot be concisely thought of?
I think it depends on the person. I think it's very, very hard, especially in the context of a romantic relationship. For me personally, it's very hard to be in a romantic relationship with someone who I don't see eye to eye on with some of these things. But I do think that we can continue to have these conversations, whether or not we can, be engaged in relationships in the same way that we would be with people who we are more aligned with. I think we can and should continue to have conversations even with people who we disagree with. And that's where I've landed in my personal life right now. And I hope that this play can be part of that conversation.
I'm a firm believer in this, actually, because I think that we do not find out why the other person thinks the way they do. And if we knew the background, if we knew the circumstances, maybe we wouldn't be so divided.
Maybe we wouldn't be so divided, and maybe we'd be able to create positive change and change people's minds a little bit. I do believe that's possible. I believe it's very hard and it takes a long time, but I believe it's possible, and I believe it's the work we all need to be doing, especially given the state of our country right now, where a lot of people seem to believe things that I personally am very opposed to, and that I think a lot of us in the theater community are opposed to.
Now, Still is played, this is its third incarnation, am I correct? What are you hoping for from this incarnation?
I hope we can reach a wider audience because it's a larger venue and a longer run, and I hope that it will speak to people even more directly than it did previously, because, in the Trump era, I think the play, unfortunately, has even more to say than it did before.
And what is next on your schedule?
I don't know after this, honestly. I have an off-Broadway production next fall. I have some interest in Still regionally, and I'm working on some TV and film projects.
And if you could choose a place where Still could play and make the biggest impact, where would you like it to go?
That's a great question. I would be really interested to see it in a red state. I don't know if theater audiences are ever conservative, even in red states, but I would be really interested to see it with a more conservative audience, because it's been in Vermont and it's been in New York, and I would be curious to see how it played somewhere with an audience with different convictions.
And would you like to see this made into a film?
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Who would your dream cast be for the film?
That's a great question. I honestly don't know. I'm so, in it with this cast right now that right now they're my dream cast, but I don't know for a film version.
And what would you like our audiences to know about you that we haven't asked?
That's a great question. I don't know. Let me think. Okay, I do have something. I'm a breast cancer survivor, which is also the case for the character in the play, although I wrote the play before I had cancer myself, so that was just sort of a weird way that the play became even more personal for me and closer to my heart.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing.
Hi, I'm Mark Moses. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How did you get involved in this play?
They sent me the play. I read it, and I said, what a wonderful play that Leah Romeo has written, Still. Which, if you come to the play, you can find out exactly why it's called Still. But as soon as I read it, I thought this play has some magic in it, and I'm thrilled to be doing it with Melissa Gilbert and Adrienne Campbell Holt, and of course Leah Romeo is the author.
Yeah, we actually had Tim, Jane, and Adrian on our podcast.
Oh, you did?
When this first happened.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I reviewed it at DR2.
Oh, wow. I have not seen the production, and in many ways, no. And in many ways, I'm not that the actors that did it. I mean, I know the actors; they're terrific. But in many ways, I'm glad I did not see it. Therefore, I won't have the previous actor's performance preconceived in my mind. But even if I did or didn't, the play itself is so good that it really gives you the characters are well defined, and the topics are topical and romantic and funny, and it's a great play to see. So get down there either anytime. We're having a benefit on the 29th.
Yeah, please talk about that.
Well, there's going to be a benefit the 29th for the victims of the fires in Los Angeles, which I think is wonderful. The producers, our producers, are doing this for the community, for the entertainment community, which exists not only in New York but also Los Angeles. And my son's out there, and we have a lot of friends out there who have lost houses. So, think about that, the 29th coming down. If not, anytime. We're going to be running this until late March. So please come and see Still down at the Sheen Center.
I'm super excited that you're doing this for California because I'm from Altadena.
Oh,
originally.
You see.
And
We
it's
also
gone.
had friends in Altadena, and I know a few people, at least 3 or 4 that lost their houses in Altadena, which is too bad. I mean, it's a beautiful area. And the houses, the people that live there, it does not have as much money as, say, the Pacific Palisades, but they're lovely houses and they're up in the hills, and it just shows you what's happening with our climate. We need to be better shepherds of our environment these days.
I agree.
Yeah.
TV, film, theater.
Yeah.
What
Well-
gives you the most joy?
Well, I started off in the theater. That's what brought me into acting.
What was your first show?
I went to NYU. I went off and did summer stock for a while. Musicals. I did musicals.
Wait, where?
I went to the New London Barn Playhouse
No way.
one time, and then after that I started doing Shakespeare in the summer at the American Players Theater and other places around the country. And when I got out of school, I went to the Long Wharf Theater. That was my equity card. I did Another Country with Peter Gallagher and Peter McNichol, and then 6 months later, I was on Broadway with Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon doing Slab Boys. So that's how I started, and I continued to do regional theater until about 1986, when my agent said, "We want you to go to California." I said, "Why? I love the theater." They said, "Well, we think you do well out there." And I went out there and I met Oliver Stone, and I did Platoon, and I got a little start out there, and I started doing film and television more. And then, but I would still hop down to the Old Globe or the Mark Taper Forum. So I always try to get my foot in theater because I love it.
I've worked at both theaters,
Have
actually.
you? Okay, there you go, yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm from California.
Okay.
If you could do any role, what would it be and why?
Well, it just sort of depends what role you want to play now. Obviously, I'm not going to play Romeo, but I think I'd love to do Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. But now, after doing this play, I go, boy, that's a 3-act play. It's a lot of words, but I think I'd love to do a play like that, and playing a new character in a new play like Still is thrilling. So,
I look forward to seeing your
all right,
version
thank
of it.
you,
Thank you
very much.